It's great to be there, albeit virtually. The title of my presentation today is "Are Men Okay?" So I hope I will give you some insight on an angle that doesn't get discussed a lot around mental health. So I will start by giving you 11 facts, 11 points of data that can help guide our time together today. So the first one is that there is a growing longevity gap between men and women. In average, men live 4 to 6 years less than women. The second fact is that the suicide rate in men is 3 times higher than in women. The third fact is that men are 3 times more likely to hit a pedestrian or to be involved and die in a car accident. The fourth fact is that in Italy, 92% of the people who commit homicide are men. And the percentage is not much different in other countries. The fifth fact is that 98.7% of people who rape somebody are men. The sixth fact is that 87% of people who abuse a minor are men. The seventh fact is that 95.7% of the jail population around the world are men. 8, men are less likely to seek help from professional mental health professionals. And 40% of men say that they have never spoken to anybody about their mental health. There is one Italian economist and one French economist who have written a book that is called The Cost of Virility. And their names are Ginevra Bersani Franceschetti and Lucille Pétaven. And they have studied the cost that Italy and France are paying for men's antisocial behavior, and have estimated that it's around 100 billion euros a year, which in Italy is about 5% of our GDP. The 10th fact is that recent studies have confirmed that there are hardly any differences between the male and the female brain, meaning that the fact that is often repeated that male's brain is 10% bigger than women, it's not entirely true, because the size of a human brain is in proportion with the rest of the body, just like other organs. And a male brain isn't less transplantable than a kidney or a heart, which can be done between male and female bodies. The 11th fact is that when babies are born, only 10% of their neural pathways are shaped, and the rest of it, the remaining 90%, are shaped by learning. So the underlying question to all of this is, what are we teaching men? So this question is particularly important for me because when I wrote Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, the basic assumption was that girls are not less interested in leadership. They are not less capable leaders. They are not less ambitious. And today we take this for granted because we are standing on the shoulders of decades of feminist research. So when I started having this question asked me over and over again by parents all over the world, the question was, what about boys? And at the beginning, I was like, well, give me a break. Can't we just have one book for us? But then I realized that the people that were asking me, what about boys, were not trying to provoke me, but they were asking a genuine question. So we realized that men are under a tremendous social pressure to perform, and that this pressure is sort of eating away at their mental health. So they are suffering, they are paying a steep price for their political and economic power, and we are still not talking a lot about this. So whereas for girls, we are sort of, there is a general consensus that there aren't biological differences that make girls less capable of leading or less ambitious. There is still sort of an underlying belief that when it comes to boys, we're not entirely sure that they are not naturally more aggressive or that they're not naturally less empathetic than girls. But the point is that scientific research shows that boys are not more aggressive than girls, that boys are not less empathetic than girls. The thing is that what we are teaching them, so the neural pathways that we are shaping with the kind of stories that we tell them and the kind of games that we have them play, the kind of toys that we buy for them, are shaping their brains in a way, and social expectations around boyhood and masculinity in general, in ways that are detrimental not only to women, which is an aspect that has been explored more, but also to men themselves. One of the things that that I started looking at is, for example, the number of war toys that are that are marketed with a boy in their image, in the advertising, and it's 90% of war toys are advertised with a boy in the commercial. And over the past decades, for example, Lego sets have shown an increasing number of weapons always in the hands of boys. So there is this problem that we have, that the storytelling around boyhood and masculinity promotes a sort of a split in the male psyche, and it convinces them, and just think about characters like 007 or all the superheroes, Spider-Man, Superman, that only the most performative side of men is what needs to be shown out in the public. But all of the relationship between boys and their internal emotional life is to be kept hidden, sometimes even from the people that are the closest. So this creates a culture of isolation that makes it incredibly harder for men to seek help for their mental health. And we are all paying the price for this. And if we think about the male heroes that shaped the understanding of masculinity in Western culture, from Achilles, who gets killed for his only vulnerable spot in his entire body, which is his heel, or to other most modern characters, we have this problem that we are keeping on promoting this narrative of that the absence of vulnerability is what makes men strong, and this is an incredible hazard in terms of like public health, and it creates also a very problematic understanding of domestic violence, because what we are doing when we look at measures to fight domestic violence, we are focusing mainly on women, and it's like we are distributing umbrellas and we're not looking at the roof that is leaking, and we're not doing enough to prevent domestic violence from occurring. So what I want to leave you with today is this idea that we should start looking at violence as a public health matter rather than a security matter, because the vast majority of violence occurs from individuals who are incapable of engaging in social and constructive behavior.